Midnight falls over the Tower of London as heavy iron gates slam shut, sealing centuries of royal blood and dark treachery inside. Beneath these ancient stones lie forgotten secrets of executed queens, betrayed princes, and relentless tortured souls. Britain's grandest monuments were not merely built to display power, but to conceal horrific atrocities that changed the course of human history forever. Prisoners arrived by water through Traitor's Gate, knowing they would never see the light of open skies again. Cold river mist swallowed their desperate cries, while guards led them down dripping stone corridors. Each step echoing off the granite walls signaled an inescapable fate, preparing the doomed for a gruesome public execution designed to terrorize the watching realm into absolute submission. Within the sinister Bloody Tower, two young princes vanished without a trace in 1483, sparking centuries of terrifying whispers. Modern excavations later uncovered small bones buried beneath a spiral staircase, confirming a brutal double murder orchestrated for the English throne. The fortress walls held their breath, absorbing the final terrifying moments of innocence crushed by cold, ruthless ambition. Desperate prisoners carved tragic messages directly into the cold cell walls using rusty nails and broken stones. These faded inscriptions still mark their final agonizing days, silent testaments to torture and despair before the executioner's axe fell. But as dark as London's fortress remains, an even bloodier legacy was simultaneously taking root far to the northern mountains. Perched high atop an extinct volcano, Edinburgh Castle dominates the Scottish horizon like a dark, impenetrable beast. High winds howl through its ancient battlements, echoing the screams of thousands who perished within its unforgiving walls. Beneath its majestic facade lies a dark record of royal betrayals, secret poisonings, and ruthless massacres that forever stained Scottish soil. In 1440, a teenage earl was invited to a peaceful banquet inside the castle's great hall. During dinner, a black bull's head was served on a plate, the ultimate omen of death, before the boy was dragged outside and executed. This horrific betrayal shattered royal honor and proved that no guest was ever truly safe within these treacherous halls. Deep beneath the bustling streets of modern Edinburgh lies a forgotten underground world known as Mary King's Close. During the devastating plague outbreaks, hundreds of sick citizens were walled up alive inside these narrow stone alleys to rot in pitch darkness. Their lingering spirits are said to still wander the damp, subterranean vaults, seeking escape from their tomb. At nearby Holyrood Palace, jealousy turned into gruesome slaughter when Queen Mary's private secretary was dragged from her dining room. Right before her eyes, conspirators stabbed him 56 times, leaving a permanent dark stain upon the wooden floorboards. The brutal violence shocked the kingdom, proving that royal chambers were often the most dangerous places in medieval Britain. Journeying into the isolated Scottish countryside reveals Glamis Castle, famous as the childhood home of Queen Elizabeth. Yet behind its stunning fairytale towers lies a dark secret chamber, hidden so thoroughly that its location died with the estate owners. Legend insists a deformed heir was imprisoned there for life, concealed from the world in total, agonizing solitude. Visitors near the hidden chamber still report hearing rhythmic thumping against the thick stone walls late at night. Servants who accidentally discovered the secret room were reportedly sworn to silence or exiled under threat of death. This sinister cover-up shielded the aristocratic family's public reputation while locking away a human horror within the castle's core. Heading south into England's heartland brings us to Warwick Castle, where power and cruelty reigned side by side. Inside Caesar's Tower lies a notorious dungeon featuring an oubliette, a deep, vertical pit where captives were dropped into absolute darkness. Left to starve amidst rotting waste, prisoners suffered unimaginable psychological torture until death finally granted them sweet relief. The castle's dark history is further stained by the tragic murder of Sir Fulk Greville in 1628. Stabbed by his trusted servant over a financial dispute, Greville died a slow, agonizing death inside the fortress towers. His tormented spirit is frequently seen wandering the ghostly ghost tower, forever bound to the stone citadel he loved. Tucked away in the dense woodlands of Devon, Barry Pomeroy Castle stands as a haunting shell of ruined majesty. Abandoned rapidly centuries ago, the crumbling fortress hides stories of horrific family curses and tragic deaths. Local legends speak of two distinct ghostly ladies who walk the overgrown ramparts, luring unsuspecting visitors toward dangerous cliff edges. The most terrifying figure is the White Lady, believed to be Margaret Pomeroy, who was locked in the dungeon by her own envious sister. Deprived of food and light, Margaret slowly perished in the icy dark, cursing her lineage with her final breath. To this day, cold spots and disembodied weeping mark the spot where she met her cruel end. In Norfolk, the grand red brick facade of Blickling Hall conceals one of England's most famous spectral haunting tales. This historic estate was the birthplace of Anne Boleyn, the tragic queen executed by King Henry VIII. Every year on the anniversary of her death, a phantom coach pulled by headless horses allegedly carries her back to her home. Witnesses describe seeing the headless apparition holding her severed head while floating through the grand corridors of the manor. Her execution shattered the Tudor court and forever associated the royal line with violence and betrayal. Yet, the darkest physical locations of execution and royal intrigue lie further north in the gloomy chambers of Chillingham Castle. Chillingham Castle holds the grim reputation of being Britain's most haunted stronghold due to its gruesome torture chamber. Here, a sadistic executioner named John Sage devised horrific instruments to torture hundreds of Scottish prisoners during border wars. The room remains preserved today, displaying iron maidens, rack stretchers, and execution blocks covered in historic scars. The air inside Chillingham remains heavy with palpable dread, as if the anguish of its victims was permanently absorbed by stone. Visitors frequently experience sudden illness, claustrophobia, and unseen hands touching their shoulders in the dark. The castle stands as a chilling monument to human cruelty, proving how easily power turns into unbridled sadism. Beneath the white chalk cliffs of Dover, miles of secret underground tunnels cut deep into the solid earth. Originally constructed during medieval sieges, these subterranean labyrinths were expanded during wartime, serving as military command posts and hospital wards. Many soldiers succumbed to mortal wounds in these dark, airless tunnels, their frantic spirits forever trapped underground. Above these secret tunnels, Dover Castle has stood watch over the English Channel for nearly 1,000 years. High atop the cliffs, execution sites and dark military dungeons witnessed summary hangings and brutal betrayals. The fortress served as Britain's shield, but its internal history was built upon the cheap lives of thousands sacrificed for kingdom and crown. Returning to London brings us to the Palace of Westminster, the center of British power for nearly a millennium. In 1605, radical conspirators filled subterranean vaults with barrels of gunpowder, plotting to blow up the king and parliament. The plot was discovered at the final second, leading to horrific public executions for treason. The conspirators were dragged through London streets, hanged, drawn, and quartered, their severed body parts displayed on pikes across the city. This brutal display served as a terrifying warning to anyone contemplating rebellion against royal authority. The grand halls of Parliament were built over grounds soaked in centuries of political bloodshed and conspiracy. Directly across stands Westminster Abbey, where British monarchs are crowned and ultimately buried in grand marble tombs. Beneath its breathtaking Gothic vaulting lie 40 monarchs surrounded by hundreds of nobles, statesmen, and tragic figures. While celebrated for architectural splendor, the Abbey is truly a massive royal mausoleum built upon bloodlines forged in brutal conquest. From the execution docks of London to hidden Scottish chambers, Britain's architectural icons remain permanent monuments to tragic history. Their soaring towers and thick stone walls were constructed not just to inspire awe, but to bury horrific truths deep underground. Next time you admire these historic marvels, Remember the dark shadows lurking behind every stone.